Hey everyone, the long grift is the Ukraine war headed to Europe this week, with Keir Starmer promising to write as many strongly written words as possible and commit all the generals he has, as long as by generals you mean general hopes or a generally vague commitment that doesn't involve any more money or troops in the ground. I imagine him going on the radio to invoke Winston Churchill, promising that other countries shall fight him on the beaches, perhaps the French or the Dutch shall fight them on the landing grounds, etc, etc. Certainly if I was the Germans though, I'd want a very strongly signed agreement that everyone was absolutely okay with them raising an army and going on a rampage for Poland to fight a war with Russia. You really want to make sure there's no ambiguity about whether people are okay with that this time around. Of course, while the US was being discussed in the European press as the most important thing in the world, the news cycle in DC had long since moved on. The main story there this week was more Doge savings, including a story about the TSA losing their union collective bargaining rights after it turned out that many major airports had more staff employed in union activism than actually screening the passengers. Apparently it's a way they let tenured staff quasi-retire with a pay rise. Admittedly though, and speaking as someone who travels transatlantic a lot, I'd frankly be okay if they all disappeared to the pub and chatted about lefty activism, all they wanted, rather than hassling passengers at a security cordon. But then I grew up travelling in the world before 9/11. The response by the media were of course remained as rational as internet fan fiction, and the late night legacy news discussion shows are almost indistinguishable now from their satirical equivalents. Cue the New York Times claiming that Trump cheated in the election, while Trump himself gave a fairly amusing speech in DC mentioning how he would be booed by the Democrats even if he somehow cured cancer. Then as a follow-up, he decided to prove the point by giving an honorary Secret Service membership to a terminally ill child and was immediately vilified for it by the left. Meanwhile, the South African government, always sensible, decided to cancel a contract with Starlink after remembering that it was owned by Trump's buddy Elon Musk, and then a minister suggested that the country should somehow develop its own system instead. And I guess it's a real shame, therefore, that there isn't a South African equivalent of Elon Musk, apart from the one that lives in America and fled from South Africa. Anyway, it's all rather depressing. Anything else in the news? Well, apparently there's a sale on at the Lego store. People are lined up for blocks. Get it? Anyway, see you next week. If you like these, click subscribe.